Thank you very much for coming. A lot of traffic. Came with the rain. How are you? Thank you. Before even before the independence. Yeah.
Let's keep moving. Let's.
President John was in Nairobi the independence. Then Deputy Prime Minister.
Okay, let's keep
That was a book. The president mentioned.
Habari yako? Mzuri sana.
Namna gani?
You have to be happy with him.
Thank you.
The TS said it's not about to. Yes. I think we issued the. You've been sent to be on. And during you tell me there.
I take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to all distinguished guests to this reception marking 60 years of friendship between Kenya and China. Coming just 2 days after Kenya's 60th Jamhuri Day, today represents the culmination of many years of consistent, trusting, collaborative, and mutually beneficial partnership between Nairobi and Beijing. It bears remembering that this month, 6 decades ago, China opened its embassy in Nairobi, only 2 days after Kenya gained independence, making China the 4th country to establish diplomatic relations with Kenya. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations between our two nations, our relationship has grown by leaps and bounds, and I have no doubt that it will continue to advance through shared prosperity and mutual understanding. Kenya applauds China for its transformative initiatives in Kenya and Africa, whose socio-economic impacts have been far-reaching. As one of the few countries with a comprehensive strategic partnership with China, the highest form of bilateral relations, Kenya's development landscape has benefited the most from China's investment. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the recent official visit to China by His Excellency President William Ruto to participate in the Third Road and Belt Initiative high-level forum held in Beijing, China, and the numerous high-level visits between our two capitals emphasizes the centrality of our bilateral and people-to-people relations. China is Kenya's largest trading partner, largest source of country of contracted companies, and one of the most important sources of employment for Kenyans, accounting for up to 50,000 Kenyans hired by the 400 Chinese firms doing business in the country across various sectors, ranging from infrastructure, ICT manufacturing, and other service sectors. The recent decision by Chinese authorities to admit Kenya's avocados and other green produce into the Chinese market is a boon to our horticultural farmers. China's tourist arrivals to Kenya is also on the rise, and Kenya is implementing deliberate measures to tap into the more than 100 million Chinese tourist market. China is undoubtedly Kenya's leading infrastructure development partner, with signature projects including the Nairobi Expressway, the Thika Superhighway, and the Standard Gauge Railway, to name a few. These projects have not only opened up the country for more investments and spurred economic activity, but have also eased connectivity between centers of commerce with people. Ladies and gentlemen, China has been a reliable partner in healthcare. At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, Kenya, like many other countries in the continent, benefited from China's generous offer of vaccines and other protective equipment. The effects of climate change have continued to threaten people and their sources of livelihoods, particularly in the Horn of Africa. China has been a friend indeed to Kenya during these difficult times through relief endowment and funding of agricultural projects to enhance food security in Kenya and the region. The resilience, support, and determination demonstrated by both our nations during difficult global times have reinforced the strength of our friendship. Our collaboration in addressing global challenges such as climate change and public health crisis is a testament to our shared commitment to the greater good. Cooperation between Kenya and China continues to thrive in the fields of science and technology, education, capacity building, along with people-to-people exchanges. As a matter of course, the first Chinese Cultural Center in Kenya will soon be realized. China and Kenya may be different when it comes to the stage of development and social system, historical and cultural background, size of territory, and population. However, our two countries share the aspiration to rapidly modernize, industrialize, and move as many of our citizens from dependency, and are therefore committed to forging win-win cooperation that will unlock shared prosperity. Looking back on the development of Kenya-China relations over the past 60 years, we can say the basic principles of equality, mutual trust, and respect have made this partnership strong enough to weather any kind of challenge. Our two nations have maintained good cooperation in international and regional issues. Kenya and China both attach great importance to upholding the purposes and principles of the UN Charter, equitable and fair multilateralism, and the promotion of unhindered trade relations between nations. Kenya is unapologetic in its support for the One China policy, which is grounded on respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity. We shall work together with China and other friendly nations to address the complex and intersecting global challenges of our time, ranging from peace and security in the region, climate change-induced crisis, and food security. There is a Chinese saying, and I quote, "To enjoy a grander sight, climb to a greater height," is a truism. As Kenya and China diplomatic relations marks the 60th year, we must mobilize every opportunity to bring the Kenya-China Comprehensive Strategic Partnership to higher heights by embracing integrity-based cooperation and green development that meets the demands of the present while securing sustainable futures. Your Excellencies, please let us all give an applause to the friendship between Kenya and China and to the brighter and prosperous future of Kenya and China relations.
Thank you.
Ambassador Zhou and Mheshimiwa Mudavadi, please stay on stage, and they are proposing a toast to the 60th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between China and Kenya.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now commemorating this occasion by two events, toasting and cutting a cake.
From generation to generation. Distinguished guests, dear friends, last October, President Ruto attended the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation in China. President Xi and President Ruto had a friendly and in-depth exchange of views on the future development of our bilateral relations. China stands ready to work with Kenya to implement the important common understandings reached between our two presidents. Take the 60th anniversary as a new starting point to explore a distinctive path of cooperation in our respective pursuit of national development and rejuvenation. Continuously enrich our comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership and jointly build an even closer China-Kenya community with a shared future in the new era. China is committed to forging a more comprehensive partnership with Kenya. China supports Kenya's independent exploration of its own path of modernization in line with the country's actual situation. China stands ready to work with Kenya to put into action the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, the Global Civilization Initiative, and implement the outcomes of the Belt and Road Forum and the FOCAC meetings so as to better support Kenya's Vision 2030 and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda better. China is committed to forging a more strategic partnership with Kenya. Both China and Kenya are important members of the Global South. China views and grows China-Kenya relations from a strategic height and supports Kenya in playing a greater role in regional and international affairs. China stands ready to strengthen communication and collaboration in multilateral settings with Kenya to jointly act on true multilateralism, defend the central role of the United Nations in international affairs, and safeguard the common interests of developing countries. China is committed to forging a more cooperative partnership with Kenya. China and Kenya are both experiencing a process of rapid development. Our knowledge and understanding of each other must be kept up to speed. China will face squarely and sincerely the new developments and new problems that confront China-Kenya relations, handle as appropriate any problems that arise in a spirit of mutual respect and win-win cooperation, so as to enable Kenya to gain more from the cooperation. At the same time, we sincerely hope that Kenya will provide the corresponding conditions necessary for Chinese enterprises and citizens to engage in cooperation in Kenya. Distinguished guests, dear friends, in traditional Chinese culture, the 60th year is always memorable as it completes a cycle called the Jiazi, a concept unique to the Chinese calendar. Standing at a new starting point, we have every confidence to advance our friendship. Let us work hand in hand to open up every more brighter prospects for China-Kenya relations. May the friendship between China and Kenya last forever. Asanteni sana. Your Excellency, Your Excellency, Prime Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Musalia Mudavadi, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, 6 years ago today, China and Kenya established diplomatic relations. Several hours ago today, all the Chinese media outlets broke the news that President Xi had exchanged congratulatory message with President Ruto on the 60th anniversary of the establishment of China-Kenya diplomatic relations. The epoch-making event on December 14th, 1963 is indeed a milestone in the annals of exchange between the people of China and the people of Kenya, which dates back more than 600 years ago, when the Chinese navigator Zheng He made voyages to the East Africa coast with his magnificent treasure fleet. Since the establishment of diplomatic ties, our two peoples have forged fraternity. Our bilateral relations have yielded fruits. Our two countries have become good brothers, good partners that trust each other, setting a shining example for China-Africa relations and South-South cooperation. Many friends present here today have not devoted to the cause of China-Kenya relations. You are witnesses and contributors of China-Kenya friendship. I wish to take this opportunity to express sincere gratitude and great respect to all of you and all friends here with us today. I also wish to extend warm welcome to all heads of foreign diplomatic missions. Your presence is an embodiment of the powerful connection between China and Kenya. Over the past 60 years, China and Kenya have pursued sincere friendship and equality. We respect each other, see each other as equals, and get along well. When it comes to issues involving the other side's core interests and major concerns, we understand and support each other. China may do what it can to help Kenya's development, but China is truly grateful to the government and the people of Kenya for the great support and selfless help you have given China over the years. Over the past 60 years, China and Kenya have pursued a win-win for mutual benefit and common development. Major cooperation projects such as the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, the SGR, the Expressway, and the GTC in Nairobi have benefited our two peoples. Our fruitful and Belt Road cooperation has opened a new era of Zheng He. Over the past 60 years, China and Kenya have pursued fairness and justice. We both uphold the purposes and principles of the UN Charter. We both oppose intervention in domestic affairs, racial discrimination, unilateral sanctions, and hegemonism. We are both committed to upholding the rights and interests of developing countries. China will never forget Kenya's invaluable support in the restoration of the lawful rights of the People's Republic of China in the United Nations back in 1971, and highly appreciates Kenya's firm commitment to the One China principle.